Your next contest is scheduled for one fall.
Oh, not again. The Cheshire Cat grin of Lerusso. White Trash Maniac, Ron Mathis. We've seen what he did to Sean Phoenix earlier. We saw what he did to Marino back in April. These young kids just trying to get by and make a name for themselves in this business. And Mathis is treating them like his own personal toys.
Well, we are, he mentioned Cheshire Cat with Lerusso. It's almost like he's high on catnip, is Ron Mathis, if I could use that terminology.
They explain something.
We're locked in here, right? He can't actually come up here.
Can't guarantee anything with him. But he's got his hands full with this youngster. Bryen Douglas was a part of the Welterweight Wrestling Eye pay-per-view as well. We've seen him a couple of times here in Premier Championship Wrestling. Young kid in his early 20s trying to make a name for himself, and unfortunately, a lot of times when these young kids want to make a name for themselves, they'll sign on the dotted line against talent that may not be the wisest decisions. Is Bryen Douglas the victim of that tonight?
I'm going to have to say yeah. We talked before about game planning. How do you game plan for an opponent? How do you prepare for an opponent? I don't know who you study to prepare for Ron Mathis. I don't know if you can study Ron Mathis to prepare for Ron Mathis.
That's a good point.
You're sure that he can't come up here?
I don't know, okay?
Well, there's a lock on the door. I just want to make sure he can't get through it.
I know he doesn't like me.
Oh, we're fine. I'm good. So all I have to do is outrun you.
Guess. If he wants to touch me, I signed checks.
Well, I just want you to know that if things go down, I will gladly push you in the way of my safety.
Well, thanks. Bryen Douglas has great agility. He's got great heart, great personality as well. These fans have really adopted him. We'll see if he can come out looking the same after Ron Mathis is done.
And Douglas may be proud of himself, but that's just going to anger Ron Mathis, and Ron needs to turn around.
Agile young athlete, though.
What was that gyrating? Uncalled for.
Uncalled for? Are you kidding me?
You don't see me gyrating all about, do you?
That's until restraining orders. Bryen Douglas got the clothesline in. Nicely done. And Douglas is coming in not as a pushover, not as somebody who's going to be made an example of. Douglas wants to come to win, make a statement. Ron Mathis may have a little bit too much Ricky Shane Page on the brain, and Douglas is going to take advantage. Oh, caught him. That's 185 pounds. Snap power slam.
We've talked about before about guys signing matches that because they're young in the business. Obviously, we've seen Bryen Douglas do that, taking on a veteran in Ron Mathis. We've seen people do that to Nate Matson, another man who doesn't like you, by the way.
Not surprised.
I just feel like I should put that in there and let the people know that in case they'd forgotten. But time and time again, we've seen guys pay the price for that, and I think that's what we're going to see here. Certainly the most unhinged opponent you can ever take on.
Well, you saw the eyes of Mathis just a moment ago. You feel like someone else is in control, or maybe no one's in control.
Well, that's an even scarier thought.
I think Lerusso thinks he's in control. We saw earlier that's not always the case.
Well, I don't know if control was something that Ron Mathis readily follows, quite frankly. Just look at that look.
Sinister and sadistic. Untamed.
Well, he just said one more. Wait a minute, they're close. I was going to say he's going to suplex him onto the outside.
Oh, inside cradle for Douglas. Almost able to slip in an upset and Mathis with a takedown.
And I think that was 2 9/10, and all that did was anger Ron Mathis. Then again, I think anything angers Ron Mathis.
Yeah, haven't seen him in a good mood yet.
Well, he looked pretty happy to clothesline Sean Phoenix earlier.
Well, maybe so, but
I'd love to clothesline Sean Phoenix as well.
oh, I'd love to Be in the room when you try.
I didn't say I was going to try. I'm a non-violent man, Joe.
Mathis, the neck breaker on Douglas. Give Douglas credit, though. Constantly trying to get back to his feet at all times.
Well, that's a smart maneuver. You don't want to stay on the ground where Ron Mathis can stomp and kick and bite and poke and prod. Ooh. And you don't want to be standing up when he can punch you either.
I'm just toying with him.
He's just toying with him, Joe. Now, isn't it nice? See, he's calling the action for us.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Mathis treating these athletes like their own personal toys, and Mathis, I guess, agrees with me. But Douglas, boom! Nicely done. Mathis is down. Could this be an upset? 2-0.
Well, Lerusso trying to advise Mathis at this point, but...
And Douglas, Simone drop attempt. Mathis counters. Double underhook. Tiger bomb. Nicely done. This'll do it. Oh, Douglas kicks out emphatically, but just barely before the count of 3.
Thought he had that 3 there with shades of Ahmed Johnson and his Pearl River plunge from Ron Mathis. Yes, Ahmed Johnson. That is the reference that I just made. You know, those two remind me of, I never knew what...
Oh, Douglas to the floor.
Never knew what Ahmed was saying, and quite frankly, I never know what Ron Mathis is going to do.
My goodness. And Mathis on the floor. He's staring at his fist or at Douglas. I'm not even sure. This guy's just a lunatic.
You know, he's the kind of guy that'll hit you repeatedly with his right hand, and they get so angry that his right hand hurts, he has to start hitting you with the left hand. But I'll tell you, I will credit Lerusso. If there's one man that I want just to take guys out in my way, it's definitely Ron Mathis. He'll do it for free. You said it earlier. It's just the desire to punch people.
Oh, look at Bryen Douglas!
Well, the kid's firing back.
These guys got to be cognizant of the count.
Well, Lendo and our timekeeper are going to have to get out of the way, or they're going to be involved in the action. Actually, taking out Lendo might not be so bad.
Well, Mathis gets things back in his territory, breaks the count. And Douglas, oh no.
Well, this could be the short-lived career of Douglas if Mathis hits whatever he's going for.
Suplex. No. Oh, and Douglas drops Mathis on this unprotected floor. You can hear that splat. And Mathis now a taste of his own medicine finally.
Well, you've got the momentum squarely in the corner of Bryen Douglas right now, and Ron Mathis, I don't even think he knows where he is. Then again, that could be the case when he hasn't been suplexed on the floor.
Mathis in a bad way, and Douglas a missile drop kick. And Douglas through with a cross body. And Mathis is retreating. Can you imagine if Bryen Douglas can score an upset? We saw one just a moment ago with Jinx. Oh no, Mathis. Uppercut to Douglas, who hits back first on the edge of the ring frame. Watch Lerusso, ref.
Well, Douglas was able to get that hand to kind of stop himself, but I think he made it worse, crashing into the side of the apron. And that's certainly not good for Douglas. Definitely in a spot he doesn't want to be with Ron Mathis.
From way up high. Superplex. Douglas is fighting. From the very top. Mathis connects. He hangs on to him. Tombstone pile driver. Oh, forget about it.
Joe, you can count to 100.
You could, but Lerusso doesn't want you to.
Well, Joe, it's time for Douglas to go to school, if you will, and he's going to learn a few lessons. And it's a smart move, well, by Lerusso. He has no real stake in this matchup other than his what would you call that, partner, friend?
Hired gun. Protector.
Hired gun is so
Peter.
cool.
Look at this. Torture rack.
Eat your heart out, Lex Luger.
Submission attempt. Douglas is already out from the pile driver.
Here is your winner as a result of a submission, Ron Mathis.
Come on, put him down.
He did. What are you complaining about, Joe? It was a fair victory. Submission.
It was an excessive victory.
Excessive, fair.
He was out before the hold was even put on. Do you argue that? Look at Lerusso like an evil mastermind looking at his handiwork.
Well, it was a great victory. Lerusso should be proud, and Ron Mathis just got to beat somebody up, so he's happy, but he should be proud too. I'm proud for both of them.
Is it going to be that easy if Ricky Shane Page comes back to town?
You're sure he can't get up here?
He being Mathis? No.
Yes. Well, I don't want anybody up here. We got a job. Impressive matchup for Ron Mathis and, well, Bryen Douglas. Sorry, kid. Uh-oh. Well, apparently Ron Mathis not done yet. And Joe, what a lesson to teach the young kid. Never turn your back on your opponent. Especially if his name is Ron Mathis.
And this is even more uncalled for. You won the match. You're proving absolutely nothing. Mathis is an absolute maniac.